guys, this is Christy Fulk with Create with Christy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the U.S. Well, I'm back with another 12 Weeks of Fall and Halloween for my 2024. And this is week number 2. Once again, it's a Halloween project. Like I said in the first one, I'm wanting to get all the Halloween projects done at the beginning so that we've got plenty of time to make these for Halloween if you're wanting to make them. So this is a cute little pencil box. It's really easy to make. And I use these Halloween pencils, and I got them on Amazon. So you can just search Halloween pencils. That's how I found these. So they're super, super cute. So, and this also features the Playful Ghosts Stamp Set that is in Stampin' Up's online exclusives in the online store. So you can look down the video description and click on the online exclusives link there at my online store. And also, if you just want to go to the homepage of the online store, there's a link to that below also. So if you want to make this along with me, pause the video. Click on that blog post link that's down in the video description as well. When you click on it, you will find the supply list, get all your supplies together. And I've also got all of the paper dimensions there. That way you can get all your cardstock ready and then come back and make it with me. Okay, let's get started. Okay, here is the main stamp set that I'm using. This is the Playful Ghosts Stamp Set. Super, super cute. I love this. And like I said, this is part of the online exclusives. And the stamps you're going to need this pumpkin right here. And you're also going to need the boo stamp. I'm also using the Sketched Plaid. This is in the annual catalog, but you can also find that in the online store. And this is $20. And this one is $20 also. I forgot to tell you that. And then I'm also using the deckled circle dies. These are in the annual catalog. You can also find them in the online store, of course. And this whole set is $37. I love all of the circles in this. And the ones we're going to need for the card, we need the number 5. The way I start, number 1 is the smallest one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I need number 6, which is the one right above it. So these are the 2 dies that you need. Okay, let's go ahead and get some stamping done. So get that square piece of basic white. This is a 3 by 3 inch piece. And then I'm going to grab that cute pumpkin with the ghost popping out. I'm going to use my tuxedo black memento pad. And whenever I use it, I go on to the stamp and kind of twist it a little bit. I think it inks up a whole lot better. And then I kind of tap on it right there at the end. And I'm going to stamp this as close to the center as I can. We're going to die cut this out later, so don't worry if it's not perfect. I'm going to grab this die and make sure I'm still going to be able to get it. Oh yeah, perfect. I made sure that you cut out a bigger piece of cardstock than what you need in case you don't get it right in the center. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the boo and get this again. And now I'm going to stamp this close and at an angle to my ghost. There we go. And that is all the stamping we need to do. Let's go ahead and get all of those things out of the way. And now I'm going to start coloring. I'm going to use Stampin' Blends. Let's go ahead and do the pumpkin part first. So let's bring in the pumpkin pie. Whenever I use my Stampin' Blends, I always start with the dark. You can start with the light if you want to, but this is how I do it. Where all these little lines are, usually you've got a little bit of a shadow there when you've got a pumpkin. So I'm using a light touch so I don't mess up my brush tip. And you can see how the light touch is still, it's plenty dark enough. That's exactly the way I want it. Just kind of go along here. Then I'll put one here. Like so. Get all of the veins. And then I'm going to go up to the top here on his hat, which is actually the top of the pumpkin. And then I'm going to go ahead and go over all of these one more time because it does lighten up a little bit a lot of times, because you want it to saturate the cardstock. So go ahead and do that with all the little veins you just made. Okay, all done with that. Now I'm going to grab the light pumpkin pie. I'm going to color in the rest of this pumpkin, and I'm going over the dark just to blend them a little bit, still using that light touch. And go ahead and do that for the whole pumpkin and do it up here at the top. Okay, now the dark is still a little bit too dark. So what I do, I usually color the whole thing, and then that's after it soaks in, it lightens up a little bit. Now, only where the dark and the light meet, I'm going to go over those to blend those together. I'm not going to do the whole thing with the light pumpkin pie again, because I kind of like having some highlights on here. Now, you can go ahead and do the whole thing if you want to. But if there are areas that are a little bit lighter, I'm okay with that. It almost makes it look like it's got 3 shades instead of just the one. Now on this one, that looks pretty good. I am intentionally not going to put another layer of the light pumpkin pie on this bottom part. That's the inside of the pumpkin. You know, whenever you do the jack-o'-lantern, the inside is always lighter than the outside. So that's why I'm going to leave that a little lighter. Now I'm going to bring in the daffodil to light. And I'm going to use the dark. And just at the edges of the eyes here, I'm going to make those with the dark yellow. And then I'll take the light yellow, daffodil delight that is, and color in the rest of his mouth and his eyes. And go over and put another layer on if you want to. There we go. Now he's got a little tongue there. You can leave that. I went ahead and grabbed my dark real red. He's using a super light touch. Just do that little bitty tongue sticking out. There we go. Too small to do any other color. And I'm going to grab my dark granny apple green, because this stem is super small too, so I'm not going to worry about doing any shading. So I'm just going to color the whole thing with my dark. Okay, now we've got one more thing to stamp, so let's go ahead and put this to the side. I'm going to bring this stamp in. This is that Sketched Plaid. And I'm going to ink this up, like so. So bring the ink pad to this. Now, since this isn't really detailed, you could use your brayer to ink this up, but I'm not going to do that this time. I'm just going to put it on there, kind of tap it all over. And I'm okay if might be a lighter spot. I'm going to grab this piece of pumpkin pie. This one is 3.5 by 5.5. And it is about the same length this way as this plaid. I'm going to put that right there, trying to keep it a little straight. Okay, now that's on there. I'm going to put some scrap paper on here. Kind of go over here, and then I'm going to switch hands and go up the top. Make sure I've got that middle. And I'll lift this up, and we have our plaid. And I've got a little smush mark there because it moved on me, but I kind of like that. This is supposed to be Halloween. It doesn't need to look perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and get some die cutting done. So get your die cutting machine out. Okay, to get this ready for die cutting, this is our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We're going to take the base platform number 1, die plate number 2, and a standard cutting plate number 3. I'm going to bring in my ghost and the pumpkin and this piece of lemon lime twist. This is a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 inch. I'm going to grab these two circle dies I had you get out a minute ago. The largest one goes on the lemon lime twist piece. And this one goes around my pumpkin and my ghost. So I want to make sure, I'm trying to center him pretty good, but I want to make sure I don't cut off my boo too. So if he's over a little bit, no big deal. Kind of bring him down a little bit. That looks pretty good. The boo is still within the opening. So this one, I'm going to make sure I put tape on because I don't want that moving with an image there. This one, I'm just going to watch it and make sure it stays on the cardstock. Now I'm going to put a standard cutting plate on top. Hold this down. Run it through. Go ahead and take the tape off. And this tape, by the way, is Post-it tape. You can also use the adhesive part of Post-it notes. Or you can use, which I've not tried this, but I've had somebody tell me the yellow painter's tape, the low-tack one, works great too. So there, that's what that looks like. You can tell the boo worked just fine. Put that to the side. And then we have our larger lemon lime twist circle. That is all the die cutting we need to do. So let's get this out of the way and make this little pencil box. Okay, so we have all the components together and ready to go before we start making the box. I'm going to bring in the 2 circles. I'm going to turn this one over, and you see the blends soak all the way through, and that's what you want because it helps it blend a lot better. It doesn't look blended here, but it does on the front. Now this is going to go right here in the center. Okay. So put this to the side. Okay, now I've got my Simply Scored scoring tool out because we're going to do some scoring. Grab that piece that we just stamped with the Sketched Plaid. This is that 3.5 by 5.5 inch piece with a 3.5 inch side along the top. I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch. So there's my 1/2 inch part. You can tell I kind of angle the scoring tool, and that makes it a lot easier so you can make it straight. If you do it up and down, a lot of times I'll jump the tracks on here. So that's why I do it at an angle. So hold it kind of like you would a pencil. And you always want to make sure all the edges are right up against the this raised part here. Now I need one at 3 1/4. So there's 3/4. I think it's a 3 3. So it's 1/2 inch and 3/4. There we go. Sometimes I say that wrong. And then we need to do 2 inches, like so, and 2 1/4. Okay, now we're going to turn this like so. So now the 5 1/2 inch side is along the top. And we want to score this at 5 1/4. So there's my 5 1/4 inch mark. You know, actually, since I've got this little smudge here, we're going to have that be the bottom. So let's turn this over again. So the edge that looks the worst, have it be on the right. And then score this at 5 1/4. Because that'll be the bottom of our pencil box. So it's not going to matter. Okay, that is actually all the scoring we need to do. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way. And I'm going to take my paper snips. And if you're making this, you may not be able to see this in the video. There are 2 little boxes. They're like squares that we made. These are going to be little tabs. So it's going to be very little cutting because I'm going to go, there are 2 little score lines right next to each other. I'm going to clip that and stop right at the horizontal scoring line that's going across right here. And I'm going to do the same with this one. There's a scoring line right here. It's a little hard to see with the Sketched Plaid, but if you're doing it in person, you'll be able to see what you're doing. So you've got 2 little tabs here. I'm going to burnish these. So what I'm going to do, the reason and I forgot to mention this, make sure when you score this that the stamp side is on top, because when you go to fold these, the valley is actually the outside of the fold. So I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to start folding these. So I'm going to take this section here. The reason you want to do this ahead of time is the fold will be able to move a lot easier after you do this. If you wait until you start putting it together, then it doesn't fold as well. It's kind of a tight. Now this is moving a lot easier because I've already folded it. So we can get all of these here. I'll go ahead and do these last 2 together. Then you can flatten those out again. Now we're going to do these long ones here. So there's one here. There's one right next to it. So go up to it. Then we've got these last 2 here. So we do this one. And there's one right here I haven't done yet. Okay, so that is all we need to do here. Okay, I made a boo-boo. I edited it out. That's a nice thing about recorded videos. But what I wanted to tell you real quick, and you do want to, we already cut those tabs. There was a little bitty rectangle here. That's what this one was here. So what I did, this little tab is already there. So all you do is just cut that little bitty piece off. So this is what it should look like on the bottom. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I didn't want to have to make this piece all over again. I accidentally put glue on the inside. That's not what I wanted to do. So I'm going to turn this back over. This little 1/2 inch strip here that I made with a score line. This is where I want to put the glue. I totally did it on the wrong side. I want to make sure I taught you the right way. So this is the tab that's actually got that notch cut off too. Okay. Now, take these little tabs here that we already burnished, fold those in, but keep these pieces right here out, okay? We're going to bring this around. This edge here is going to line up with that score line, like so. Get those, and that's a nice thing using glue also. Now I can kind of squish it, slide it. That's what I'm trying to think of. Get that in. I'm going to take my bone folder. Oops. And put that right inside. That way I can kind of push that down, and the bone folder is getting in there from my fingers a little bit too big to get that going. There we go. So there is the pencil box all put together except for the bottom. So what we're going to do, I'm not going to worry about putting in any glue on these little tabs. Those just need to go in. Then I can fold this one down. And see the side that has the seam? This is my back. So I want this tab here for the back to go down first. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right along here. I get the glue to come out. There we go. I smoosh it around so it's not a big glob right there. Bring this down and get those 2 together. Now hold it down with some pressure. I would use your bone folder again and tap that bottom against your finger, and that will put the pressure you need on there so that glue will take hold. There we go. So now the bottom is done. So we've got our pencil holder done already, except now we need to decorate it. So I'm going to take this here. I think I'm just going to take some seal. Now, first off, what I want to do, let me grab my seal first. I want to make sure this is the top of my little ghost, okay? I'm going to leave my finger right here, so that way I know that's the top center. So I'm going to go right along the center all the way down once I get this going again. Okay? And then I'm going to put a little bit here on each side of it. That should make it... Oops, I'm not getting any here at the top. There, that should be plenty. That makes it a little wider for me. And this one is just going to go right here. I want to first find the seam. That's right. There's the seam, so that's the bottom. So I'm going to turn this over. I was almost going to do it backwards. And this one goes on, and because I put the adhesive just on that bottom part, or the middle part, I mean, now I don't have any adhesive showing over here, okay? And I made sure those 3 strips are definitely narrower than this, but that's plenty to hold it on. This is on really, really good. So now you want to take a piece of ribbon. This is a 4-inch piece of the black and very vanilla large check ribbon. This is in the annual catalog. And I'm going to tie this just in a single knot. Try to get that knot close to the middle, so I'm kind of playing around with it before I tighten it. I'm not going to tighten it too much because I kind of want that knot to be a little fatter than usual. And that's why I'm not doing a double knot too, because I always make the knots way too little, that is, if I do a double knot. That looks pretty good. I'm going to get a hold of the knot and kind of move these up a little bit because I kind of like being like a V. I'm going to grab my glue dots. I'm going to put the back of the knot right on top of the glue dot and squeeze. That way that glue dot goes right into that ribbon. Help the glue dot up with my fingernail a little bit. And this is going to go right in the top center of my circle, like so. Now I'm going to grab my scissors. I'm going to cut these at an angle so they're about the same size. Okay. Now I've got a little more decorating to do. I probably could have done these on before I put the embellishments on before I attach this, but it's going to work out just fine. I'm using, these have been around for a while. These are called the Glossy Dots Assortment, also in the annual catalog. I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool. I'm going to take a big one of the Gorgeous Grape. Even though there's no Gorgeous Grape on here, purple goes really good with Halloween stuff, I think. And now I'm going to put that one right up here. Then I'm going to grab a medium-sized one, and I'd be right here in the middle. See if I get that one off. There we go. And it's going to go right about here. And then I thought I'd do another small one and a medium-sized one of the Daffodil Delight. I'm going to put one right here. I'm going to kind of bunch these two together because I kind of like them together. Because when you bunch these together, I always use odd number, and you're like, wait a minute, that's 4, that's even. This is like a grouping, so I'm going to count that as 1. So 1, 2, 3. So that's, it just didn't look right having only 1 yellow and 2 purple, so that's why I went ahead and did the 2 there, and that kind of evens that out a little bit too. So there we go. That is the pencil case, and this is what it looks like when you put 4 pencils in. So it's a perfect size. As you can see, that fits in perfect with your Halloween pencils inside. And you could probably put like thin candy bar or something like that in here too, but it definitely works really good with those Halloween pencils. So I hope you enjoyed week number 2. And if you live in the United States and do not have a demonstrator of your own, I would love to be yours. And what you do, just click that contact me link below in the video description and give me your mailing address, and I'll send you out your first set of copies for free. Right now we've got the annual catalog and we've got the mini catalog, and this one starts September 4th and goes through January 6th. So if you live in the U.S. and do not have a demonstrator of your own, I would love to send it out to you for free, as long as it's the first copy that I've sent out to you. And if you don't want to miss any of my videos, make sure any more of my 12 weeks of fall and Halloween, and you haven't subscribed yet, just click that subscribe button below. And when you see that little bell icon, click on it and then select all, and YouTube will notify you every time I upload a video, and also let you know when I go live. And I go live every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time with a card class at home. And with those, I make 3 cards with one featured bundle, and it's a free class for everybody to watch. And there's also a way to get card kits free. So you can find out about that if you watch my lives. Once again, Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, that is it. I hope you had fun watching the video. Hope you have fun making these pencil boxes, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.